In today's world, we can see a growing gap between different generations, like how younger people are creating their own unique culture and world, mostly online. This division between the young and the old is made worse by the internet age. Young celebrities gain a crazy number of followers, but older people, especially those over 30 or 35, may not even know who they are. One such example is MrBeast, a YouTube star with 145 million subscribers on his primary channel, surpassing the likes of Taylor Swift and Justin Bieber in terms of subscribers. However, many individuals, particularly adults, remain unaware of his existence. The rise of influential figures like MrBeast raises concerns regarding their impact on children. Parents who grant their children unrestricted internet access place a significant amount of trust in these influencers. Even content that appears harmless can unknowingly introduce ideas that might guide children towards worrisome directions. Specifically, Tyson, a companion and co-star of MrBeast, has recently undergone a noticeable physical change that fans have observed. This includes growing his hair, appearing frail and sickly, and wearing women's clothes. Welcome to Trend Zone. In this video, I'll be sharing my thoughts on the current situation involving MrBeast and his long-term colleague and friend, Tyson. But before we begin, please subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so that you never miss any of our latest videos. Tyson publicly came out as transgender, revealing that he has been undergoing hormone replacement therapy for the past 2 months. He expresses gratitude for the informed consent HRT provides and emphasized the importance of allowing individuals to make informed decisions about their bodies. Tyson has addressed concerns regarding his young son Tucker, explaining that his decision was made with the intention of being the best and happiest version of himself for his child. He refutes claims that he is harming his body or denying his manhood. Now, MrBeast faced a challenging situation as he had built a multi-million-dollar empire centered around family-friendly content for kids. Nevertheless, when faced with Tyson's decision to document their gender transition in their videos, MrBeast found himself at a crossroads. He had to make a difficult choice. On one hand, he could remove Tyson from the team, risking accusations of transphobia. On the other hand, he could fully support transgenderism, potentially alienating a substantial portion of his fan base, especially parents. Ultimately, MrBeast opted for the latter, demonstrating his commitment for creating more content that promotes transgender acceptance and support in the future. It is evident that Tyson's actions are impacting those close to him, coercing them to confront this situation against their preferences. For instance, Tyson posted a photo of his young son wearing high heels, suggesting that Tucker had chosen to do so. This has raised concerns that we may hear about Tucker's own gender transition journey, which Tyson may claim was chosen by the child. However, it is apparent that Tyson is the one making these decisions. Regarding Tyson's wife, Katie, her feelings about the situation can be inferred from the fact that she is divorcing him. Tyson announced their separation shortly after coming out as trans or non-binary, further complicating matters for MrBeast and potentially resulting in a loss of subscribers and revenue. So, Tyson's actions have not only led to the dissolution of his marriage and disrupted his child's upbringing, but have also caused significant problems for his friend and business partner. Chris Tyson's decision to embrace his true self as a transgender has had far-reaching consequences. While he asserts that it allows him to be his happiest self, his actions have caused disruption and discord in his personal life and affected those around him. The influence of figures like MrBeast on children's lives, coupled with the online generational divide, raises important questions about the responsibility of influencers and the impact they can have on young minds. Tyson's recent public revelation of his transition serves as another example in a series of grown married men coming out as transgender or non-binary. This trend can be observed among prominent transgender activists in the country. It is notable that a significant proportion of trans activists are men who transitioned after already having children and getting married. This particular demographic seems to be overrepresented within trans activist community. The prevalence of rapid onset gender dysphoria and social contagion must also be acknowledged when discussing the identification of individuals as transgender. Many adolescent girls are influenced by these factors. But when it comes to activists, the number of men who transition as adults appears disproportionately high. Tyson's case serves as a valuable example because it sheds light on an important truth about the transgender phenomenon. Contrary to popular belief, the decision to transition is not solely personal and private. It is not similar to choosing an ice cream flavor at a shop where others' opinions are irrelevant. Transitioning has far-reaching consequences that dramatically alter the lives of those closest to the individual. It is not a solitary journey. It inevitably affects others, whether they consent to it or not. Western society is greatly influenced by individuals who reject their own reality and decide to live as someone else. However, it is the immediate families who experience the most significant consequences of this choice, often finding themselves overwhelmed by the destruction of their lives and relationships. Given the gravity of the situation, a grown man like Chris Tyson, who makes the decision to transition, does not warrant sympathy or understanding. Expressing such sentiments may draw criticism, especially from those on the right who advocate for compassion and acceptance. However, Tyson's actions can be seen as the epitome of self-centeredness, tearing apart families and disregarding his vows as a husband and father. What makes it even more difficult is that society approves of this dismantling, leaving his wife unable to object or express anger or sadness without being labeled as transphobic or bigoted. Her grief is denied the dignity it deserves, robbed of the right to mourn the terrible thing that has been done to her. One might argue that men who have affairs and leave their wives for other women at least allow their spouses to hate them openly. Society validates their anger. However, men like Chris Tyson perform a similar act but expect their wives to understand and support their transition. Often, we hear stories of supposedly supportive wives, but the details rarely add up. Declarations of support often come hand in hand with divorces, contradicting the alleged harmony. The idea of supportive wives in these cases is more fiction than reality. These women married men with specific characteristics, physical and otherwise. They did not enter into marriage with an ambiguous notion of a person. Therefore, it is a form of abandonment, the most severe kind, to deliberately strip away and change everything about oneself that one's wife believes she married. Transitioning is an extremely betrayal of marriage vows, as it involves intentionally becoming the opposite of what one was at the time of marriage. It deprives the wife of her husband and the child of their father. Justifying such a decision by claiming personal happiness only underscores the prioritization of one's own needs over those of the family. Transitioning, fundamentally, is always wrong. Even if we lived in a fictional world where transitioning between sexes was possible, it would still be morally unacceptable when married and with children. Once someone gets married and becomes a parent, the time for transition has passed. It becomes their responsibility and obligation to suppress that part of themselves and live as the man their wife and child need them to be.